What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your $1,400 third stimulus check update, fourth stimulus check update, and daily news report. What I've got in store for you today is actually quite dramatic. And I've rarely seen anything like this occur. It's mainly due to all the stimulus packages that have recently been passed. And that has created this extreme value moment that I'm going to share with you. I've spent several days making sure I turn over every stone and asking others to poke holes in this thesis. But nobody has been able to find a way to do that, as far as I know. If you've been watching how the stock market has been reacting to the stimulus check programs and the infrastructure package, you'll notice that tech stocks, biotech, and drug manufacturing companies have fallen by 20%, 30%, 40%, even 50%. I've been around these markets for over 2 decades, and like Warren Buffett, who's a big fan of tax credits and other forms of philanthropy and government policy to alleviate the suffering of those that don't fully get to participate in the benefits of the central banking money printing programs, stimulus packages. In fact, Warren Buffett said that it's wise for investors to be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. Well, when I asked what was cheap, I scoured the markets and found an anomaly that isn't common at all, and I wanted to make sure that you knew about it so you could study it as well. To be honest, I'm very bullish about the company that has made today's video possible and has partnered with my channel on this one because its price is currently lower than the accredited investors, who are millionaires by definition, have paid for their shares in the company and therefore believe what the company is worth. That's something that's rare when the average person is able to research a company for a lower price than the smart institutional investors, aka the smart money. I'm excited just being able to say these words. Entheon Biomedical, whose US symbol is ENTBF, as you can see on the screen, and its price is 50% below what it was in mid-January. A 50% discount is substantial. That's why the timing of this video is now. Today's price is actually 13.5% cheaper than the accredited investors paid back in December of 2020. I mean, the fact that the average person can do their homework on this company when the price is below what the smart money has paid for their shares is astonishing to me and shows the power of being patient. And I waited until I thought this would be valuable to share with you. As you know, the government decided to issue stimulus checks because of the dire plight that this pandemic put us into, people not being able to pay rent, not being able to put food on the table, or even open their businesses. This 2020 pandemic really showed us how important our basic freedoms are and how important medical research is. Since the FDA was able to run a project at Project Warp Speed and put our society at least somewhat back on track. Among the most promising treatment avenues in recent years is medicine of certain types of chemicals. Today's medical experts are looking for an array of medical solutions, such as DMT, for instance. These are real and viable medical solutions for mood disorders that millions of Americans struggle with every single day. Addiction, anxiety, depression, PTSD, and more. For me, as an investor, having seen what could happen from a revolutionary asset such as Bitcoin and what the price of Bitcoin and how much it has appreciated over the years. I actually saw Bitcoin for the first time below 500, and now it's somewhere between 50,000 and 60,000 or more per coin. So I know I have my duty to show you this thesis. Here's why Entheon's story is so compelling and plays into the reopening of America. Number one, an announcement from the FDA in October 2018 was pivotal. It granted breakthrough therapy designation for its use of psilocybin. Granting breakthrough therapy status can greatly accelerate the process of drug development and review. And number two, in 2020, a Johns Hopkins study found that 80% of smokers quit after, quote, one dose of psilocybin. And, quote, research on 51 cancer patients showed the drug decreased anxiety and depression in 80% of those tested. Number three, with the presidential election on November 3rd, a huge day occurred in the US as voters in Oregon and Washington, D.C. dramatically changed their state laws pertaining to psychedelics. For patients, access to psychedelic treatments couldn't come fast enough. particularly in the area of addiction treatment, since the currently conventional methods are woefully inadequate. The go-to treatment of prescribing numerous pills has numerous problems. They're only partially effective, and sometimes the pills that are prescribed have their own side effects. Plus, they can be highly addictive, and we all know that big pharma can be controversial. With a $1,400 stimulus check, you want that to go a long way. And today's addiction treatment centers that offer a 12-step model might only offer limited help to people who struggle with addiction and can cost $650 per day. And they may require the patient to stay at the facility for 60 to 90 days, followed by recovery work. The INCB produced a report that shows that worldwide, 1 in 6 problem drug users receive the treatment worldwide. And nearly 21 million Americans have at least one addiction. And since 1999, the sale of opioid painkillers has increased by 300%. Thankfully, I can do something about it, and one way is to show you what Entheon Biomedical is attempting to do. The realm of psychedelic medicine offers the hope of safer and more effective treatments where conventional approaches have failed. Among the most promising treatments is DMT, which is naturally occurring in the body and generally known to not be addictive. It is reported to have the following effects: stress reduction and protection, anti-inflammation, immune responses, neuroplasticity, and dream consciousness. The potential for DMT to serve as the basis for drug addiction is tremendous, yet largely untapped. And that's why this is pretty exciting to me, because it's like finding Bitcoin before 2013, before the price had really appreciated and Wall Street really took notice of it. In essence, Entheon Biomedical has entered into a process which has the potential to prove the safety and efficiency of DMT. In the treatment of the previous mental issues mentioned, they are a pioneer in the industry. In fact, I couldn't find another publicly traded company in this line of business. And it's a massive competitive advantage to be first to market. Subject to obtaining all the required approval and permits, Entheon Biomedical intends to generate revenue through the sale of its DMT products to physicians, clinics, and licensed psychiatrists in the United States, certain countries in Europe, and throughout Canada. In tomorrow's 10 a.m. morning video, I'm planning to share with you one extra little tidbit about Entheon Biomedical, which I'm going to present to you. And I've collaborated with PortfolioWealthGlobal.com, who have already assisted in putting together all the necessary information and data regarding Entheon Biomedical for you. And they have made an exclusive free report for you to download in the link down below in the description of this video. So click the link down below in the description of this video to learn more information about this. Please check out our full disclaimer at the description area of today's sponsored video. Thanks, guys, and let's jump into a bunch of stimulus news. On stimulus news, Representative Jayapal puts out a new tweet that says, "This is great progress, but we've got a long way to go until our economy fully recovers. Let's give people $2,000 a month until this crisis is over so they can support their families." She tweets this yesterday regarding the U.S. economy adding 900,000 jobs in March. But remember, we also had 700,000 new people file for unemployment claims just like last week, brand new people filing for unemployment. So that's kind of the recovery we're having right now. Yes, we're adding jobs, but we're also having hundreds of thousands of people lose their jobs in the same thing. And that's why we have Democrats pushing for these monthly stimulus payments. This is Representative Jayapal saying, let's give people $2,000 a month until this crisis is over so we can support their families. Senator Bernie Sanders, who's the Senate Budget Chairman, the person in charge of the reconciliation process, the way they're likely going to pass this next infrastructure and stimulus package, the Build Back Better package, says that a lot more work needs to be done on the human infrastructure, and that is really where stimulus comes into play regarding the next stimulus package. Here is Senator Bernie Sanders on the infrastructure package.
Senator Bernie Sanders, Chairman Sanders, thanks so much for joining us. Happy Passover to you. President Biden's plan includes a proposed corporate tax rate increase that's half the increase of what you've called for. It does not include a new tax on wealth, which you also support. And although it does contain measures to combat climate change, it is a fraction of the size of the Green New Deal. Now, Biden calls the plan bold, but it clearly doesn't go as far as a President Sanders plan would have. Is this plan bold enough for you?
Well, I think it's a serious proposal dealing with some of the serious crises that we face. I think every American understands that our infrastructure, our roads and our bridges, water systems, wastewater plants are falling apart, and we can create millions of jobs rebuilding them. I think the vast majority of the American people understand that climate change is an existential threat to the planet. We can create millions more jobs at good wages, rebuilding, transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency and sustainable energy. I think also most Americans know that we have a major housing crisis, and that's not only 500,000 people who are homeless today, it is 19 million households that are spending 50% of their limited incomes on housing. All of those issues are dealt with in the president's plan. What you're going to see right now, Jake, is that Congress is going to take a hard look at that plan. I think that, for example, as you indicate in terms of climate, we're probably going to want to put more money into that area. I think there's a lot of work that has to be done in terms of healthcare, the high cost of prescription drugs, making our colleges affordable for young people and dealing with student debt. So right now, I think in an unprecedented moment, the president has given us a serious proposal. A lot more work has to be done in that regard.
We're really expecting a lot of the human infrastructure to be included in the second half of the plan when President Biden unveils it. I also personally think that we're going to see just a few things added in the human infrastructure. And then as they go to pass this package, we're going to see a lot of the Democrats say, well, we really need to add this, and we really need to add this, we really need to add this, just because I've been through this. A few times before. So I kind of know how this is going to work. And I also know that we're going to see a lot of the Democrats and a lot of the people pushing for a lot of things, such as stimulus checks and student loan debt forgiveness and the Social Security increase. And I just have a feeling they're going to end up adding several things in before it's all is said and done, including stimulus checks. I do expect at least one more stimulus checks in this infrastructure package before all is said and done. Remember, if we go back to the second stimulus check package, they originally unveiled that package with $0 in stimulus checks, and people went crazy, and senators and congressmen went crazy. Back at that point, we had bipartisan support. We actually had Republican support and Democratic support. We had at the time Bernie Sanders and Republican Senator Josh Hawley both pushing to add a $1,200 stimulus check into that second stimulus check package, which originally started off as zero. And we had a lot of push for, hey, we need another stimulus check in this package. And that is when they actually went to the Senate and they tried to do it through a sporadic up or down vote. And we had Republican Senator Ron Johnson who said, no, I object. But really, that movement and that push from the people ultimately led to, hey, we need to do this. We need to add this in before we pass this bill. And what happened is they took the money away from the states and cities. It was like $160 billion. And they gave that to you guys in the form of a second stimulus check. That $160 billion equated out to $600 per person and $600 for child. So that is how we got the $600 stimulus check. Then we had at the time President Trump, who was president, say, how can you even have just a $600 stimulus check? Even that's not enough. And that's when he said, I'm not going to sign this package, and the check really needs to be $2,000. And then we had the Cash Act, where President Trump kind of propelled this and said, hey, let's make this check $2,000. And then we had Nancy Pelosi from the House ran with it, and they passed the Cash Act in the House for an additional $1,400 amendment, $1,400 stimulus check. And then it went to Mitch McConnell in the Senate when he was Senate Majority Leader, and he didn't even put it to a vote, which was kind of crazy. And I was thinking at the time, I'm like, man, the Senate races in Georgia, the Senate runoff races are literally like a week from now. Are you really not even going to put it to a vote? and then have these Senate runoff races happen. And if you lose both of those Senate seats, the Republicans and you lose control of the Senate. And that's what he did. And I was kind of thinking, I'm like, is he really not thinking this through? And I'm thinking, your own president, Republican President Trump, is pushing to make these checks $2,000. You're the Republican majority leader in the Senate. You're not even going to let it go to a vote. It already passed the House. You're not even going to put it to a vote. And that's what he did. He didn't even let it go to a vote. And I'm thinking, wow, that's a huge political mistake. I'm like, I bet he's going to lose control of the Senate. And then literally days later, he lost control of the Senate. Both of those seats were won by Democratic senators by the slimmest of margins, literally the slimmest of margins. And all they had to do was win one seat, and the Republicans would have retained control of the Senate. And well, then we know that President Biden ended up passing that $1,400 stimulus check anyways. So really, it was kind of a huge political mistake, I think, from Mitch McConnell. But you can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, because Mitch McConnell lost control of the Senate. Republicans lost control of the Senate. The Democrats then took control of the Senate, the presidency, and the House. And now they can pass packages on their own and possibly even get rid of the filibuster in the future. And the Democrats passed that $1,400 stimulus check anyways. So Mitch McConnell delaying the bill really did nothing but harm for him and his party. But you can let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. But I think that that kind of set the stage. And now the Democrats are probably going to do it again with the next infrastructure package, and likely include at least one stimulus check. And the smallest stimulus check they're talking about right now is $2,000. And they could include monthly recurring stimulus checks in this next package. So I'll keep you up to date on everything. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below so you don't miss out on new updates. After subscribing, click the bell icon to all notifications so you get notifications when we go live with new videos. And don't forget to check out that free report on Entheon Biomedical down below in the description of this video. Happy Easter. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending your Easter with our family. And I will see you guys in the next video in the morning. Thanks, guys. Happy Easter.